Have you ever hit that confirm button only to instantly regret it? Maybe you bought a new gadget only to find a better deal hours later. Or perhaps you signed up for a service, then realized it wasn't quite what you expected. In today's digital age, online transactions are the norm, making our lives incredibly convenient. But with that convenience comes a lurking fear. What happens if something goes wrong? What if you need to backtrack to undo a purchase? That's where a robust refund policy comes in, acting as your financial safety net. Today, we're diving deep into something incredibly important for anyone managing their finances, especially those relying on modern banking solutions, the Relay Bank refund policy. You might be a small business owner using Relay for its streamlined expense management, a freelancer juggling multiple client payments, or simply an individual who appreciates a bank that understands the nuances of modern financial life. Regardless of your specific use case, understanding how Relay handles refunds isn't just about knowing your rights, it's about empowering yourself to make confident financial decisions, knowing you have a clear path forward if an issue arises. We've all been there. A subscription renews unexpectedly, a double charge appears on our statement, or a product doesn't live up to its promise. These situations can be frustrating, even panic-inducing. The last thing you want in those moments is to feel lost in a labyrinth of fine print and unhelpful FAQs. That's why we're going to break down the Relay Bank refund policy into clear, digestible segments. We'll cover everything from what constitutes a refundable transaction to the specific steps you need to take to initiate a refund, and even explore some common scenarios that might arise. By the end of this video, you'll be armed with the knowledge to navigate any refund situation with Relay confidently, ensuring your hard-earned money stays where it belongs, in your pocket. So, let's start with the fundamental question: what is a refund in the context of Relay Bank? At its core, a refund is the return of funds to a payer for a transaction that was previously completed. This can happen for a multitude of reasons. Perhaps a service wasn't rendered, a product was defective, an order was canceled, or there was simply an error in the initial transaction. Relay, like any reputable financial institution, has a clear framework for processing these reversals. It's important to differentiate between a simple return of funds and a chargeback, which is a more formal dispute initiated by the cardholder through their bank. While Relay's refund policy encompasses the process of getting your money back, understanding the distinct mechanisms is crucial. Now, let's talk about the various scenarios that might trigger a refund through Relay Bank. The most common one, of course, is a product or service return. If you've purchased something with your Relay card or via a Relay-linked payment, and you return the item to the merchant will typically initiate a refund back to your original payment method, which in this case would be your Relay account. This process is generally straightforward, assuming the merchant has a clear return policy of their own and adheres to it. Another frequent scenario involves erroneous transactions. This could be a double charge for a single purchase, an incorrect amount debited from your account, or an unauthorized transaction that you didn't approve. Relay has mechanisms in place to help you address these discrepancies. We'll get into the specific steps for disputing unauthorized transactions a little later, but it's important to know that these are distinct from a standard merchant-initiated refund. Then there are cancellations. If you've subscribed to a service or placed an order that you later cancel before it's fulfilled, you would expect a refund. This is particularly relevant for businesses using Relay to manage subscriptions or recurring payments. If your client cancels a service, for example, and you've already processed a payment, you'd initiate a refund through your Relay account to return the funds. It's also worth noting the less common, but equally important, situations like failed transactions. Sometimes, a payment might appear to go through, but due to a technical glitch or an issue on the merchant's end, the transaction isn't actually completed. In such cases, the pending charge should eventually drop off, or if it posts, a refund would be necessary. Relay's system is designed to identify and rectify these situations, but knowing what to look for can save you a lot of headache. So, how does the actual refund process work with Relay? Let's break it down step by step. The very first step, in most cases, especially for product or service returns, is to contact the merchant directly. This is crucial. Relay acts as your bank, facilitating the flow of money, but the merchant is the one who initiates the refund itself. If you bought a defective product from an online store, your first call should be to that store's customer service, not directly to Relay. Explain the situation, provide them with your order details, and request a refund. They will then process the refund, which will be sent back to your Relay account. Once the merchant initiates the refund, it generally takes a few business days for the funds to reflect in your Relay account. The exact time frame can vary depending on the merchant's processing times and the interbank transfer systems. Typically, you can expect to see the refunded amount back in your account within 3 to 10 business days. While it can be frustrating to wait, patience is key during this period. Relay's system will automatically credit your account once the refund is received. What if you've contacted the merchant, and they're being uncooperative, or you suspect an unauthorized transaction? This is where Relay's dispute resolution process comes into play. For unauthorized transactions or situations where a merchant refuses to issue a legitimate refund, you'll need to formally dispute the transaction with Relay. This is a more involved process than a simple merchant-initiated refund. To initiate a dispute, you'll typically log into your Relay account and navigate to the specific transaction in question. There should be an option to dispute transaction or report an issue. You'll be prompted to provide details about why you're disputing the charge. Be as thorough as possible here. Include dates, times, descriptions of the issue, any communication you've had with the merchant, and any supporting documentation you might have, such as receipts, emails, or screenshots. The more information you provide, the stronger your case will be. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.